Good afternoon, everybody. It is day 12 of our devotional, and we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Today's devotional is titled The Sin Cycle. Sin will lead to death. That's a cold, hard fact we have to accept. My cholesterol used to be 317. That is dangerously high. God showed me that my gluttony was going to result in death if I didn't change my ways to His ways. He came to my rescue. I let Him do the rescuing. Today we ask God to break the sin cycles in our lives. The first step is realizing that God isn't causing the problem. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does He tempt anyone. But each is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. James 1 verse 13. Let's read that one over a couple times because, frankly, there are a lot of commas and semicolons to confuse me. Piece this out and picture the scene in your mind like pregnancy. Temptation does not come from God. It's our own evil desire that drags us away and entices us. Ooh, what vivid images. Once a desire is conceived in our minds, it shows up in our actions, which is the sin. Then if we allow the sin to grow, it will end in death. God is spirit. John 4:24 says the Father is looking for worshipers who worship in spirit and in truth. He wants followers who are not spending their time indulging their flesh. We live in a culture where we are taught to get whatever we want. Let me read this again. We live in a culture where we are taught to get whatever we can to please our flesh, and as much of it as possible before someone else gets it. God says, no, let me provide for you. Trust me to give you what you're really hungry for. Unconditional love, peace, and contentment in your soul. If we're consistently seeking to indulge our flesh, taste buds, and tummy, we cannot be led by the Holy Spirit. The two are in opposition to one another. They cannot coexist. They cannot be friends, nor can we be friends with God and friends of the world at the same time. The world's way leads to death. God's way leads to life, health, and blessings beyond what we can even ask for or imagine. Choose life. The practical tip of the day. I don't care how many times you have messed up so far. Start again. Don't give up. God promises new mercies every day. Sometimes by the time my stomach is growling really hard, I'm so hungry that my mind is a little out of control. Do you know what I mean? I know I do. It's very important to be in a mode of self-control before you approach your food. My practical tip is to not wait too long after your growl to eat. Otherwise, you may reach that fevered pitch that results in eating fast and overdoing it. Definitely experienced that a lot lately. We need a brainwash from the norms of our culture. We think full means we have to unbutton our pants. No, that's overstuffed. However, as you progress on this journey, you will find that sometimes fasting from food as an offering to God is a marvelous and unique way to draw closer to Him. Once again, I remind you that you will not starve for missing a meal or even fasting for a day or more. We'll talk more about fasting when we've walked a little farther down this road. All right, so that was day 12, and now let's go ahead and get into a reminder of our practical tips of the day. Number 1, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're finished. Number 2, this will challenge many of us who have grown up believing that certain foods are evil. Eat what you really want. Number 3, until God gives you the growl, use your mouth as an instrument of praise. Memorize some scriptures that speak to your heart. Number 4, enjoy sitting down to meals with others regardless of whether you're hungry. Timing out your growls takes a little time, but you'll get the hang of it. Number 5, victory may come instantaneously to you. God may choose to deliver you in one moment from the desire to overeat. However, celebrate each victory along the way to freedom. Number 6, you want the clearest possible hunger signal. Anything you put in your mouth besides water will have some diminishing effect on that. That includes anything containing sugar, like gum, mints, sodas, teas, juices, and coffee. Water is the best choice between meals if you want to have a good, strong growl. Number 7, we will find that as our hearts change towards food, it will cause other changes in our lives. We will feel lighter, more joyful, more peaceful, and even have more money in our wallets. We simply don't need to buy as much food now. Number 8, eat slowly, take small bites. Number 9, sit down. Number 10, make a list of your most tempting situations. I guarantee you there are times of the day when you want to eat for a reason other than hunger. Number 11, learn to respond to the tempter the same way Jesus did. Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Matthew 4:4. Write out these words several times today. Ask God to tuck them in your heart as your secret weapon. And today's practical tip, I don't care how many times you have messed up so far. Start again. Don't give up. God promises new mercies every day. I will post those below, as well as our prayers. The one for basically just to start your day with, and then the one to pray before every meal. And I will be back later to check in with all of you.